Alright, wall fans and common sensors, that's right, it's me, the one and only Sean O'Rourke, coming at you with another very exciting collaborative effort featuring Go Tell It to the Wall along with Wayne Smith Music. That's right, if you saw the video that we did about a month ago, we did a little preview for Last Song Playing presented by Wayne Smith Music. That was the fourth bracket, number four that we did. There's an all-new bracket that is coming out starting very soon this week, and it's actually Last Song Playing 5, but this one happens to be all acoustic. I will say off the top, it is a smaller bracket than the last one that we did. That one was 32 bands. This one is 16 different bands, solo acts, different songs, whatever it might be, depending on each particular one. So, that being said, we're going to run down through all of these, give you a little bit of info about each performer, band, song, video, whatever it might be, and just to give you maybe some background. And of course, I'm going to throw in my not-at-all expert opinion. That's right, I said that. Not at all expert opinion. I'm not an expert. I just listen to a lot of music, listen to certain kinds of music, so I'm going to, maybe compare and talk about what I enjoyed about each particular song. Now, like I said, this is Last Song Playing 5, presented by Wayne Smith Music. We are, of course, Go Tell It to the Wall. Love doing these collaborations. I will say I was apprehensive is not the right word, but a little bit apprehensive when Wayne first came out with this one, and I knew it was going to be all acoustic. I'm not a huge acoustic fan. Not to say I don't like it. It's just not something I usually gravitate toward. However, I will say when acoustic is done right, it can be very enjoyable. And all 16 songs on this are right in that category of very enjoyable. Alright, let's kick things off. Last Song Playing 5, all acoustic bracket presented by Wayne Smith Music. I am, of course, the one and only Sean O'Rourke. And in the first bracket, we have a song called Quiet Room by Charlie Cole. I will say first off, this song was, of course, recorded in a quiet room. You kind of have to do that when your song is called Quiet Room. Charlie has a wonderful, gritty voice. I'm definitely a big fan of his voice. Out of North Vancouver, British Columbia, up there in Canada, the west coast of Canada. I'm so bad with geography, but I do know that Vancouver is the west coast of Canada. I don't know why I'm pointing this direction, as if that means something to all of you, but yeah, the west coast of Canada. And it is an original song. Highly recommend this one. You should make sure that you are, of course, as you go through and see all of these, make sure you're liking, subscribing, sharing, all of those good things. And that one, Charlie is actually up against Tara Lee's Been Crying by Gerald Horton. Gerald is out of Bryant, Alabama, down there in the south. Don't know why I'm gesturing places, but that's what we do here at Go Tell It to the Wall. You gotta love acoustic guitar and trees. This one was shot outside. There's just something about nature and acoustic guitars. There's a lot of stereotypes about it, don't get me wrong, but when it's done right, it's fantastic. Nature, guitars, trees, greenery, all fantastic stuff. And respect to the beard, Gerald Horton. I don't want to say I'm an expert on beards either, but I do know a little something about beards, and mad respect for the beard. Great song with Southern charm. You can tell, even without knowing that Gerald was from Alabama, there's like a certain Southern charm to this particular song that I enjoyed very much so. Alright, and as I mentioned, make sure you are liking, subscribing. This time I'm actually pointing in the right direction. Just below this video, you're going to find the link to the YouTube playlist for Last Song Playing 5, the all acoustic bracket. All 16 songs just right there for you. You can run down through them. So make sure as you do that, you like the videos, comment, tell them what you think, subscribe to those bands, and I don't want to say most importantly, but equally as important, make sure you also click on the Facebook link that is below this video. That's going to take you to the actual bracket, Last Song Playing, presented by Wayne Smith Music. That's how you're going to vote. You're going to watch the videos, listen to the songs on YouTube, but then go over to Facebook, like that page, check back daily once the bracket actually kicks off, and that's how you're going to vote for your favorites in each round of the bracket. Down there. Down there. I'm actually pointing for a good reason now. I feel like people of a certain age are going to get this. I'm moving much better, but I feel like Bob Dole just like waving a pen around. That's for those of you that are over the age of 25. All right, moving on to the next bracket here, we have Psalm 42 I Am Satisfied With You by Daniel Walters out of Fullerton, California. Again, I'm going to point out more nature, more acoustic guitars. It's great stuff. But I will also say in this video, you might notice there's some power lines. And that's going to be, I'm just going to take a moment and sympathize here because I live in Los Angeles. If you're not familiar with Fullerton, that's Orange County, just south of Los Angeles. It's harder to find areas with trees like Mr. Gerald Horton did because there's so many power lines and stuff running around. So you're going to see some power lines, and that's the difference between being in the south out in nature and being in Orange County out in nature. Don't get me wrong, you can still find nature. This is just like my parks where I take my kids. Sometimes there's power lines and stuff. You just got to deal with that. However, still nice to see the guitar out in nature. Great voice. Had an Irish ditty feel to this one. Daniel Walters, I grew up with Irish music. I did. My last name is O'Rourke. It's like a requirement for me in my house. My father exposed me to a lot of great Irish music, and then I, of course, gravitated toward Celtic punk and all that good stuff. This had that Irish ditty feel to it. I enjoyed it. Very much enjoyed it. Now, of course, Daniel Walters is going up against Disaster by Zach Hope. Zach Hope out of Keller, Texas. There's no vid for this one. Not all of them are going to have vids. That's okay. Just enjoy the music. It's a very melodic sound. And I will say from a comparison standpoint, very much reminded me of the Shins. If you're familiar with the Shins, there's a New Sound was a particular song. I'm not saying it's exactly the same, but for a band comparison, definitely got a Shins feel out of Zach Hope and that particular track, Disaster. All right, moving along. Make sure you are subscribing. Subscribe to all these videos. Subscribe to all these bands. Subscribe to whatever. Wayne Smith music. Make sure you're also going through all of those. I'm going to say this like 15 times throughout the video because that's the most important thing. It's great if you watch this video and then you don't do anything. You're not actually supporting the bands and the artists and everything. So let's support them. Let's do it. All right, moving along here. Up next, we have the Smiley song by Sadie Rock and the Mad Ryans. They are out of Durham, North Carolina. That's right, Durham. I know nothing about Durham except for Bull Durham. For sports fans out there, like a couple people are going to get that. But even if you're not a sports fan, you haven't seen Bull Durham, it's a movie to see. It's something to see. Love this band name. I'm going to say it again. Sadie Rock and the Mad Ryans. So it looks like Sadie and then two guys named Ryan put this band together. Fantastic band name. Again, no video here, but very cool graphic. Check out the graphic. I'm sure it's an album cover for them. And it has a smoky, jazzy feel. I don't mean like you feel like you're smoking, but whenever I think of like a jazz lounge or a jazz singer, I just envision guys like, oh yeah, you know, sipping on some, like a nice liquor and just, So when I say smoky, that's more of what I'm thinking of. Can you tell I quit smoking 8 weeks ago? Because right now I'm like, oh, it sounds really nice to me, actually. But we're going to stay strong. Don't smoke. Don't smoke, kids. Don't ever pick up a cigarette. All right. And I will say, this has a close feel to She and Him, which I'm a big fan of She and Him. If you've never heard of She and Him, that's Zooey Deschanel's band, her two-person band. It's kind of like a jazz act. Definitely has that same kind of feel to it. Again, not exactly the same, but if you're looking for a comparison, that's probably where I'd go with it. As soon as I was listening to this, I had that She and Him feel out of it. They are going up, Sadie Rock and the Mad Ryans are going up against Back and Forth by Undercurrents. Back and Forth by Undercurrents out of Dallas, Texas. This video was done in studio. It's a guitar and a vocalist. So they have a guitarist and a vocalist doing the actual lyrics, the singing. It's very acoustic pop punk feel. Very acoustic pop punk feel, if that makes any sense to you. Think about like 90s pop punk. In fact, really the Blink-182s of the world. This reminds me of a slower Blink song with Tom singing. Not with Mark singing, not with Skiba singing, but with Tom singing before Tom left the band. I'm a big fan of this kind of style. It's really my style. It's what I grew up with. It's what I'm listen to mostly these days. So definitely check out Back and Forth by the Undercurrents. They are out of Dallas, Texas. I think that's going to be a tough bracket for a lot of people. There's going to be a tough choice there. All right, moving along to the next bracket, One and All by Lenny Lenape. Apologies, Lenny, if I am mispronouncing your last name. It's Lenape or Lenape. One of those two. More importantly, make sure you are subscribed to his channel, and then you'll get the correct pronunciation at some point. Guitars and Trees. You can't beat a guitar and trees. You can't. Great lyrics. It's definitely a PMA. If you're not familiar with PMA, that's positive mental attitude. That's something really in all the music community, but especially in punk rock, you have these PMA bands, positive mental attitude. And I would say that Lenny is one of these people that has that positive mental attitude out of Portland, Oregon. Makes me want to travel. this song very much made me, I got this feel of like, I want to go on a road trip and explore some things and find the biggest peanut in the US or whatever. I mean, not that cheesy, but it did make me want to explore a little bit. Big fan of Lenape or Lenape. Apologies, Lenny. I went to look up the pronunciation, and there's two pronunciations. But I feel for you. My first name's Sean. It's not even spelled conventionally. Can't tell you how many times I've been called Scene in my life. Now Lenny's going up against Unknown Roads by the Hunter Lee Project out of Montclair, California. That would be Southern California for those of you not familiar with it. No vid on this one either, but it's a cool album cover. I will tell you, when you see that album cover, when you go through the playlist that's just below this video, you're going to want to do what Hunter Lee was doing. He's laying in the grass like by the ocean. It's fantastic. And in fact, it's all instrumental. There's no lyrics for this particular track. And like I said, it just made me want to lie in the grass and soak in the tunes, the melodic tunes of guitar. Fantastic. So check them out. Of course, you're checking out all these. I'm just going to say check it out, check it out, check it out, because not really an actor. I don't know what I'm doing half the time. All right, moving on to the next bracket. Still Small Voice by So Last Year. They're out of Rochester, New York. No vid on this one either, but great music. I also love the band name, So Last Year. Like, you can tell that's a play on words. It's a great song, great lyrics. Again, out of Rochester, New York. Still Small Voice by So Last Year. Kudos on the band name. They're going up against Rom-Com by All Systems Go. They are out of Delran, New Jersey. Delron. It's got to be Delran. It's not like Massachusetts where they just make up pronunciations for all of their town names. I can say that. My father's from Massachusetts, and I tease him that he mispronounces everything. If you have a relative from especially from Boston, so you can have a lot of fun with that. A lot of fun with that. And I've been doing that my whole life because my father. Yeah. Very cool album graphic on this one. All Systems Go. This one has that pop punk acoustic feel as well. And you also gotta love some tambourine. I'm a tambourine fan. I don't play much instruments, but I have over the years taken to playing hand percussion. You know, I play djembe, I play some bongos. You gotta throw some tambourine in there. So you always need a little tambourine, and All Systems Go is coming with that tambourine. So make sure you're checking them out as well. Next bracket, we have Lost the War by Bad Year. They are out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. That band name. Your band name is Bad Year. Lean into 2020. I'm assuming that you had this band name before 2020, but is it Bad Year? Keep it up. Lean into that 2020. I really like the vocals. The vocals were right up my alley. Well done cinematic music video on this one. You'll see when you go to the playlist down below and watch it. Love it. Great. And like I said, the vocals are definitely right up my alley personally, as is all of this. But some I gravitate towards some more than others, and this would be one of those. They're going up against The Cries of Merengue by RK Radio out of Virginia Beach, Virginia. This one was shot and recorded at different locations. This was actually a quarantine demo that RK Radio had put together. 2 guitars, very, very melodic. And then, again, I'm going to say it again here, the singer for RK Radio, that beard, man, respect. Gotta respect the beard. But again, very melodic. I enjoyed this one as well. All right, moving on to the next bracket, we have... I enjoyed this one. And you'll see why. Because if you agree with, me on a lot of common sense things, then you will agree with this. This is a song called Racists Are Assholes by The First Rule. They're out of Kenosha, Wisconsin. Full disclosure, I am familiar with The First Rule. I follow them, they follow me. So I was already pretty familiar with this band. But I will say, you had me at the title. You really did, despite the fact that that could have been any band, because it's like, well, we can all agree on this, right? Racists are assholes. If you don't agree, you're probably a racist. I mean, maybe this song's not for you, but if you do agree, which you should, because racists are assholes. Keep in mind, this one, explicit lyrics, but of course it fits the song, and fuck racists, right? I mean, they're going up against Last Day Alive by Johnny B. Morbid. I love this band name. Love the band name, Johnny B. Morbid. They're out of Toms River, New Jersey. Fits the overall theme of the band. You can tell this is a band that has a theme to them. I don't want to say they're like the Misfits, but the Misfits. these kind of bands that have a certain feel and a certain theme to them, Johnny B. Morbid is going to be one of those. Awesome album artwork and very harmonic vocals. I enjoyed the vocals very, very much on that particular track. Again, Last Day Alive by Johnny B. Morbid. Tom's River, New Jersey. Check them out. All right, we have the last bracket of Last Song Playing 5 all acoustic bracket. And for this one, we have I Want to Play Music by Evan French out of Palm Harbor, Florida. This is very much a singer-songwriter feel. I don't know. I feel like that's one of those things people lean on. They're like, oh yeah, they're very much a singer-songwriter, and I get that. It's very stereotypical, but if you know what that means, you know what I'm getting at by saying singer-songwriter feel with a bit of a southern twang. You can get that. You can tell it's from the South. Now from Florida, a lot of people argue, well, you don't get that twang from Florida. I know I spent a lot of time in Florida, but it has that southern twang to it. And who doesn't love harmonica? I'm all about some harmonica. You're going to get some harmonica in there from Evan French. I Want to Play Music. They are going up against Night Ride 3 by Jack 13's Panzer Crow. This is a band out of Finland. Apologies, Jack 13's Panzer Crow. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce that city in Finland. I don't even know what some of those letters are, but they are from Finland. And I will tell you, when you listen to this, you can tell that they're from Finland. It has a European feel to it. Also a little bit of a banjo feel at the start. Like I said, I'm not a musical expert, so I'm not positive that it was banjo, but it has a little banjo feel. And I will say, for lack of better words to describe, it's an acoustic metal sound. So check them out as well. That's going to be the last bracket for Last Song Playing 5, presented by Wayne Smith Music. Again, this one being all acoustic. I'm going to say it one more time for this video. Make sure you click below. The YouTube playlist is linked right below this video. Click it, going to take you straight to that playlist. And here's how you're going to do. You're going to do this in order too. So pay attention. It's very complex. I know. It's a lot of clicking. It's really like 2 clicks, but just pay attention. So you're going to click on that YouTube playlist, go through all of them, like the songs, subscribe to the bands, leave some feedback, tell them how good it is. Don't tell them how bad it is, because none of it is bad. Tell them how good it is, tell them what you enjoy about it, and then once you've done that, you're going to go over to Facebook. Click on the Facebook link below this video. That's going to take you to Last Song Playing, presented by Wayne Smith Music. Join that group. It is a private group, but that is where you're going to see all of the brackets. Wayne breaks them out daily once the actual bracket competition kicks off, and that's where you're going to vote daily. And if you need to, when you can't quite remember because it's been a couple days into the bracket and you listen to all of the songs before, you can go back to the YouTube playlist. And you will get notified. So if you join that group, it's going to show up in your Facebook feed. You're going to get notified. Make sure you're paying attention. Make sure you vote. And on top of voting, share the group, share the bracket with all of your friends. This is how we are supporting musicians, especially during the pandemic when they can't go out and play shows. We're going to help them get some additional exposure, do everything we can. Wayne Smith does great things for all of these smaller, lesser known bands. And I don't mean smaller in a bad way. It's just they're lesser known. Some bands, like the band on my hat, they're doing fine. This band, they're doing fine with the pandemic. Like, they're hurting, but think about the bands that literally go and get paid in beer, drink tickets. Those are the bands that we really got to be looking out for now, because when we get out of this pandemic, we're going to want to go to some freaking shows. I'll tell you, I'm ready for a show. All right, that's going to do it for this preview of Last Song Playing 5, presented by Wayne Smith Music. I am, of course, your absolute favorite host, the one and only Sean O'Rourke from Go Tell It to the Wall. This has been another awesome collaborative video. Make sure you vote, make sure you join the group, make sure you subscribe, support those bands, and we'll see you soon, hopefully with another Last Song Playing bracket. Until then, enjoy the music.